we are dealing with the AC analysis of op-amp. So you know that the basic op-amp consists of two terminals, one inverting terminal and one non-inverting terminal. Then the signal is if we are applying a signal to the inverting terminal, then the output will be 180 degree out of phase with the input signal, and if we are applying input to the non-inverting terminal, then the output will be in phase with the input signal. And so when we deal with the analysis of op-amp, we have to study both the case of a practical op-amp and an ideal op-amp. So everything, there will be some practical case and ideal case. So in the case of op-amp also, we have an ideal op-amp and practical op-amp. Okay, so the characteristics of a practical op-amp are its voltage gain, its input impedance, and its output impedance. Okay, so every circuit there will be an input impedance, output impedance, and a gain, because this is an amplifier. Okay, so here in the case of a practical op-amp, the input impedance, that is ZIN, is the impedance between these two terminals, between the inverting terminal and non-inverting terminal. There will be some kind of resistance inside this output, then that is taken as ZIN. Okay, so Zin is the impedance. Impedance means the total resistance between the input terminals is called input impedance, Zin. Okay, then the output impedance is the impedance at the output terminal. Okay, so here actually if we are giving a VIN voltage at the input terminal, then usually the output will be gain AV, voltage gain AV into VIN. Okay, and this output voltage gain is measured, it is taken through the output impedance. Clear? So here the main characteristics of a practical op-amp are, this ZIN input impedance will be very high, and the output impedance Z out will be very low, and the voltage gain will be very high. So these are the characteristics of a practical op-amp: input impedance very high, output impedance very low, and the gain, voltage gain, is also very high. Okay, so let's take each cases. First one is AV, which is the voltage gain of a practical op-amp. It is very high. What is this voltage gain? Voltage gain is VO, V out by V in. Okay, output voltage divided by input voltage is voltage gain. So voltage gain very high means V input will be very low. Okay, so VO by VI. So gain very high means V input can be very low. Okay, so this means an extremely small input voltage will produce a large output voltage V out. Then V out is very high, Vin is very low, so V out by Vin will be very high. That is why a voltage gain of op-amp is very high. That means if we are giving a very small input voltage, the output produced will be very high. Okay, so that is about the voltage gain of a practical op-amp. Second one is the input impedance. This input impedance is very high. Input impedance very high means the resistance between these two terminals is very high. Okay, so what about the current between these two terminals? Since resistance is very high, the current flowing in the flowing between the input terminals will be very low. Clear? Because here the resistance is very high, which opposes the flow of current. Therefore, the input impedance very high means in a practical op-amp there is very small input current. And the third one is the output impedance Z out is very low. Z out very low means the output voltage Actually the output voltage is taken it is taken across the it is taken through the output impedance Z out. Okay, because one end is connected to Z out and the other end is connected to ground, so it is taken through the Z out. But since the value of Z out is very low, the output voltage is independent of, practically it is independent of the load connected here. Okay, it is independent of the load connected to the output terminal. Clear? So these are the characteristics of a practical op-amp. But when we discuss about the AC equivalent circuit of an ideal op-amp, the voltage gain is considered as infinity. The voltage gain is infinity. Voltage gain infinity means VO by VIE, where Vi can be 0. Okay, so here I told that Vi is very small. Even though the input voltage is small, the voltage gain is very high. But here Vin can be 0. Okay, that means VO by Vi is 0. That means even we are not giving any input to the op-amp, we will get a very high output. That is the meaning of AV is equal to infinity, but we know that it is practically not possible. That is why I told that it is an ideal case. Okay, so for an ideal op-amp, the gain will be infinity. And what about the input impedance? Here input impedance was very high, but here input impedance is infinity. So input impedance infinity means the resistance between these two terminals is infinity. So what will be the input current? No current will flow across this input terminals because the resistance is very high in between. Okay, so in a practical case, input impedance is infinity, and for an ideal op-amp, there will be 0 input current. And next, the output impedance Z out. Here Z out is very low, but here it is approximately 0. Okay, so in an ideal op-amp, the output impedance is 0. It means that output voltage is totally independent of the load connected to the op-amp. It is independent of the load connected here. Okay, so this is the difference between a practical op-amp and a ideal op-amp. So in a practical op-amp, the gain is very high, 10 raised to 5. Input impedance is very high, 2 mega ohm, and output impedance is low, around 100 ohm. But when it comes to an ideal op-amp, the gain is infinity, Zi is infinity, and Zo will be 0. Okay, so this is a comparison of op-amp with feedback and without feedback. Okay, so without a negative feedback, the voltage gain AOL is too high. Okay, but when we apply a kind of negative feedback, that is a part of output is fed back in opposition to the input, then normally it becomes a closed loop, and the closed loop gain is less than that of open loop gain. Okay, I think we have already discussed that point. So for example, let's take a case. The open loop voltage gain of an op-amp is normally 1 lakh. If the open loop voltage gain is 1 lakh, which is extremely high, and you are giving a 1 millivolt input signal, then what will be the output? Gain is VO by VI. Gain is 1 lakh. Input is 1 millivolt, which is very small voltage. Then the output will be, if you are doing the calculation, it will be around 100 volt. Okay, this 100 volt means even though you are giving a small just 1 millivolt input voltage to an op-amp, the output voltage that you are getting is very high, around 100 volt, and an op-amp can never reach 100 volt. It cannot withstand a 100 volt output. So the op-amp will normally driven into a saturation region, and in the saturation region means the op-amp will behave like a non-linear circuit. Okay, so it is totally different. Therefore, the open loop, we have to decrease this open loop voltage gain. That is why we are connecting a negative feedback. Clear? So with a negative feedbacking, that is in the case of a practical circuit, op-amp circuit, we will always connect a negative feedback, then the ACL will be low. Okay. Now the input impedance without a negative feedback, it will be very high, but a negative feedback, it can be increased or reduced to a desired value depending on the type of the circuit. We can both increase the input impedance and decrease the input impedance. It depends on the circuit. Okay. Then output impedance without negative feedbacking, it is low, but with negative feedbacking, it can be reduced to a desired value. And about bandwidth, so here you know that the voltage gain, if we are giving a negative feedback, normally the voltage gain of an op-amp decreases. Okay, but at the same time, the bandwidth of the op-amp will increase with a negative feedbacking, but without a negative feedbacking, the bandwidth will be low. Okay, so this is the advantage of, actually this is the advantage of negative feedbacking. We can decrease the gain and increase the bandwidth of a op-amp circuit. Okay. Basic things about operational amplifiers. Now let's discuss about applications of this op-amp. So it has many practical applications. The op-amp can be connected in a large number of circuits to provide various operating characteristics. Okay. So the first one is op-amp as an inverting amplifier. So this is the circuit of op-amp, inverting input and non-inverting input, and we will connect two resistance Ri, which is the input resistance, and also there is a feedback resistance Rf connecting the output terminal and the input terminal. Okay. Since this is an inverting amplifier, the input is connected to the inverting terminal of the op-amp. So this is the inverting terminal and we are connecting the input voltage to the circuit through this Ri. Okay. Then the non-inverting terminal is grounded. Clear? So if the input is connected to the inverting terminal of an op-amp, then this amplifier is known as a inverting amplifier. So here we know that the input impedance of the op-amp is very high. Ideally it is infinity, and the output impedance is very low. So since the input impedance is infinity, which is very high, there is no current flow between these two terminals. In the input terminals, the current flow will be zero. Input current is zero since the input impedance is infinity. Already we discussed it. Okay. This input impedance infinity means there is no current flow between these two terminals. So the input current will be zero. So actually, what is the direction of current? What is the criteria or for a current flow to happen? That is, current will always flow from a region of high potential to low potential. That is, there should be some voltage drop. If there is a voltage drop, then there will be a current flow. Okay. So here the current is zero. There is no current flowing between these two terminals means there is no voltage drop in the input terminals. No voltage drop means the voltage of this inverting terminal and non-inverting terminal is zero. So there is no voltage drop or voltage difference. Okay. So the input impedance very high, infinity, and current zero means there is no voltage drop between these two terminals. That means the voltage of this inverting terminal and non-inverting terminals are same. Clear? So that is the condition. No voltage drop between these two terminals means voltage at inverting terminal V minus is equal to voltage at the non-inverting terminal V plus. But here, look, this non-inverting terminal is grounded. Grounded means voltage is 0 at this point. Okay. So here, since the non-inverting terminal is grounded, V plus is 0 volt. So here V plus is 0 volt. Since V plus is equal to V minus, if V plus is 0 volt, V minus is also 0 volt. Okay. So here actually this inverting terminal is not grounded. It is connected to the input resistance Ri and to the voltage source Vn. Okay. But even though it is not connected to grounded, the voltage at the inverting terminal is physically grounded. Sorry, it is not, even though it is not physically grounded, the voltage drop at the inverting terminal is 0 volt. Why? Because the non-inverting terminal is grounded and the potential at that point will be 0 volt, and since input impedance is infinity and input current is 0, V plus is equal to V minus. Since V plus is 0 volt, V minus will be also 0 volt. Okay, so that is, even though the inverting terminal is not physically grounded, the voltage at that point becomes 0 volt. So this point is taken as virtual ground because voltage at this point is 0 volt, but it is not physically connected to ground, or it is not directly grounded. That is why it is called a virtual ground. So in an inverting amplifier, there will be virtual ground at the inverting terminal. Clear? This is a very important point when we are discussing about this operational amplifiers. In an inverting amplifier, due to the presence of infinite input impedance, there will be no voltage drop. Therefore, since V plus is 0, V minus will be also 0. Okay, so even though it is not connected to ground directly, not physically grounded, the voltage at the inverting terminal will become 0 volt. That is, it is called a virtual ground. Now let's solve this circuit. Inverting input as V in is connected to the inverting terminal through Ri. Then we have a Rf. Okay. Now let the current flowing through this Ri is taken as IIN, that is I input. Okay, so I input is the current flowing from the input source to the op-amp through this Ri. Okay, so since this is a voltage source, a current will flow from the voltage source through this Ri. When it reaches here, actually it can be divided into two. One part of this input current can flow through the feedback resistance Rf, and another part can flow through the op-amp. Actually here there is an input impedance. Actually it can flow through the input impedance of the op-amp. But we know that input impedance is infinity and the current between these two terminals is 0. So that means no current is flowing through the input impedance. Okay, so there is no current flow between these two terminals. Therefore, the current that is coming from the input source I input, it does not go to the input impedance, or it does not go to the interior of the op-amp. The whole current will flow through the feedback resistance. So we can write it as I input is equal to I feedback. the value of I input is same as that of, it is the same current that is flowing through the feedback resistance, that is IF, because there is no current between these two terminals. So the total current will flow through the feedback resistance. So I input is equal to IF. Okay. Now we have to write the equation for current. What is current from Ohm's law? Voltage by resistance. Okay. So first I input is current flowing through Ri. Then the voltage drop between Ri is, the left terminal of resistance is connected to Vin and the right terminal is connected to negative terminal. And you know that V minus is 0 volt. So this terminal is actually 0 volt. Okay. So what is the voltage drop across this Ri? V in minus 0. That is the voltage drop. V in minus 0 divided by resistance Ri. That is equation for input current. Okay. So I input is equal to V in minus 0 divided by Ri is equal to, what is feedback current? Feedback current is the current flowing through RF. So the left terminal of RF is connected to 0 volt and the right terminal is connected to V out. Okay. So it is 0 minus V out divided by RF. Okay. So Vi minus 0 is Vi by Ri is equal to minus V out by RF. Actually, we need the equation for gain. So gain is V out by Vin. So from this equation, if we are rearranging this equation, V out by Vin will be minus RF by Ri, which is the closed loop gain. Okay. Why it is closed loop gain? Because we have considered the feedback resistance also. So here we have a negative feedbacking. So this gain is called closed loop gain. Okay. Sorry. So this is the closed loop gain. So the closed loop gain of an op-amp inverting amplifier is minus RF by Ri, which is the ratio of the feedback resistance to the input resistance Ri. And one thing is that it is independent of the open loop gain. In this equation, there is no terms containing the open loop gain. The closed loop gain only depends upon the value of RF and Ri. So closed loop gain of an op-amp is independent of open loop gain. And if we are taking RF and Ri equal resistance, RF is equal to Ri, then ACL will be minus 1. The closed loop gain will be minus 1. Okay. So this is all about a inverting amplifier. Gain, equation for gain is minus RF by Ri. Here the minus sign indicates that the output voltage is out of phase with the input voltage because it is an inverting amplifier. Clear? Now let's take another condition also. RF is equal to NRI. RF is equal to NRI. That means RF, here RF is equal to Ri. Sometimes RF can be twice that of Ri, 2 Ri or 3 Ri or 5 Ri. Then what will be the closed loop gain? The closed loop gain will be RF by NRI by Ri, which is equal to N. So if we are taking it as 2 Ri, the closed loop gain will be always minus 2. If you are taking it as 3 Ri, the closed loop gain will be minus 3. Okay.